is a 34-year-old army veteran living near Basildon.
I joined the army when I was 16. I grew up in Glasgow and had no intention of ever being in the military. September 11 happened, and I had a weird sense of duty come over me, and I joined the military.
Paul completed 3 tours of Iraq, but his army career was suddenly cut short in 2009.
I was part of the Brigade Reconnaissance Force for 19 Brigade, and we deployed to Afghanistan, where sadly after about 9 weeks I was involved in an IED explosion, which resulted in the loss of my right leg. From there I spent quite a bit of time in intense rehab. I was informed that my services were no longer required and I was going to be medically discharged. And if I'm honest, I had no idea what or where I wanted to go after that.
Paul now works as a support officer for BLESMA, the Limbless Veterans charity. His role involves supporting 300 limbless veterans in the community, and the pandemic has transformed how they work.
I usually spend 2 days at home and 3 days out in the ground visiting vulnerable veterans, which I'm not able to do. We've been rolling out a number of programmes, purchasing iPads where required, giving them online mentorship, online tutoring. We're now making people who were socially isolated and the only visitors they got may have been their carer for 30 minutes a day, to now having an iPad and being able to Skype or FaceTime friends, family, other veterans, whatever it may be. We're having virtual coffee mornings when you've got people that are in their 90s and people that are in their 30s, all chatting about a whole manner of things. But what we're showing is that, the military is a community, and it doesn't matter if you're an 18-year-old going through basic training, or if you're a 100-year-old walking all those steps for the NHS.
The virus has directly affected a number of the veterans Paul supports.
When you get to know these people on a personal level, and they're struggling, it's a privilege to help them, not because it's my job, but because it's the right thing to do. I've lost a few veterans to COVID-19, and that's, it's very difficult to hear, especially when you're not able to go and support the family, or you're not able to go to the funeral. Hearing from a relative or the local authorities, there was one person that had me down as his next of kin, which I wasn't aware of, and that's how I found out. And there's absolutely nothing I can do.
Military funerals are not currently allowed.
We had a veteran who died about a week before lockdown really kicked in, and he was an ex-RAF pilot, had a fantastically distinguished career, and his wife was distraught, but she was adamant that she wanted a full RAF funeral. So I worked with the RAF Association. We had the most amazing funeral planned, and sadly it didn't happen. And that's difficult because that was his wish and that was her wish.
On a personal level, Paul has faced his own challenges in lockdown.
When this first happened, I found it really tough. I found it tough not seeing my friends. I found it tough not going to work. I found it tough not just escaping my house. I did feel quite low in my own mental health. But after that, I started saying, right, what can I do so by the end of this, however long it's going to be, weeks, months, however long, I can see something positive.
As well as getting fit and spending time with his children, Paul has turned his attention to his community.
So I've been doing befriending phone calls. I have been assigned a couple of residents who are in close proximity to me. So one of them I do his shopping every week, and I pick his repeat prescription up. I'm volunteering with Essex Welfare. I signed up as an NHS volunteer, and then I'm a Team Rubicon volunteer as well, which is a volunteer network of veterans. So I've been working in hospitals, building and moving hospital beds between hospitals that needed them, and people are losing lives, losing their livelihoods, their jobs, and I'm not going to sit and patronise and say everybody should look for a positive, because for some people there might not be one, but for me, that's what I've tried to do, and actually that's what's got me through this whole pandemic.